Hello, welcome to the Wednesday live stream. And today we'll be talking about what exactly is holding you back. But before we begin, let me know, are you viewing this live or are you viewing this on the recording? So if you are attending, whether it be live or after this has already been run and you're viewing the recording, you likely are feeling undervalued, overworked, and probably underpaid in your current teaching career. I hear you. I truly do. As a former teacher myself, I understand the relentless cycle of feeling undervalued, taken for granted, expected to incorporate the latest program without being properly trained in exactly how to administer and facilitate that. You probably don't have enough resources and you've been told just make do with what you have. And of course, when you have a class that's double or triple the amount of resources required to meet the needs of that class, it can only lead to frustration. You're clearly overworked. We know you're underpaid. The late nights grading papers, the emotional weight of having to shape the impressionable minds of your students, the lack of respect from parents who feel, well, you get summers off and every holiday, so you're really working a part-time job. Boy, if only they knew. The battles with administrators, some of whom you'd almost swear have never stepped foot in a classroom themselves. It's as if they have forgotten what they experienced when they were the teacher. Obviously, the continuing decline in student behavior. You can't go a day without it being referenced, mentioned, experienced about the lack of decorum, the lack of respect that students have for teachers, for adults, for authority in any form or fashion, and the ever increasing and constant pressure we are all under. It takes a toll on even the most passionate and dedicated educators. But here's the truth. Your incredible skills and dedication are valuable beyond the classroom walls. You have incredible abilities to assess the needs of others, to communicate both in written form as well as oral. You lead, you inspire, maybe most importantly, you solve problems. And these are all highly sought after in the corporate world. Now, make no mistake, this is not just some marketing speak or puffery designed to make you feel good about yourself. Rather, we want you to not temporarily forget how difficult your job has become. Hopefully, though, you'll see what we're about to talk about as a beacon of hope, a chance to recognize that your experience, your expertise, your education, skills, insight that all of you are walking around with inside of your heads, and so much more can be leveraged so that you can follow a personalized roadmap to help you escape the burnout that probably you're experiencing or shortly will, unfortunately, and you can begin to lead into a transition in a fulfilling career that values what it is that you can contribute, that recognizes your worth and rewards you appropriately. It sort of makes me think, well, then what is holding us back? Why aren't we doing that? And this may age me or date me, but if you're familiar with the musical group The Eagles, they have a song already gone, and I will not sing it for you. You don't want that. You certainly did not register for this hoping to hear me sing, so I won't do that. But there is a lyric in that song that goes, so oftentimes it happens that we live our lives in chains and we never even know we have the key. In other words, sometimes these are shooting ourselves in the foot reasons why we are held back, and we do have the ability to overcome that. So, why does that happen? Why do we have these self-imposed hurdles that we fail to overcome? And for many of us, there's a whole roster of beliefs, assumptions, biases, determinations, assessments that we are carrying around. Some of them we have been told over and over again by people that we believed and trusted that this is the way you should feel. This is how you ought to behave. This is what you are supposed to think. So it's up to each of us to determine, are we going to keep that as truth, or are we going to perhaps challenge some of these beliefs, some of these assumptions? And in truth, there are some of these beliefs that we have formed that provide a positive result. It may be uh, a security to prevent us from making a mistake of being too gullible or from chasing after the wrong opportunities. So we have created heuristics, rules of thumb, beliefs that prevent us sometimes from making mistakes. So they can protect us. They defend us from some of the things that we otherwise might endeavor to do that would get us into some kind of trouble of one kind or another. But there are other beliefs that can help us make progress, sustain momentum, increase the inertia towards a positive outcome. Those are really the ones that I'm hoping to share with you today. So you might think of the analogy that a boat is safest in the harbor, but it was not built for that. Or a turtle is most vulnerable when it sticks its head out of its shell, because then predators can attack. But a turtle cannot move until it does so. So this may sound all theoretical, but I'd like to introduce to you the team of beliefs that we get to choose from. And this is not exclusive, but I'm going to introduce you and I'll share my slides with you now of some of the thoughts, the beliefs that we have that sometimes get in the way, or conversely can help propel us towards what we seek. So the team might be referred to here that I'll be introducing to you as the itty bitty not so pretty committee. So let's get to it, shall we? I call this the champs and chumps. So first off, we're introduced to Rachel Rush. This is somebody who feels they have to always be in motion. They don't take the time necessarily to make progress because they're forever checking off items on the list, but it's in a very haphazard, slapdash way. They're very often somebody who doesn't take good care of themselves because they're forever in motion and frankly getting nowhere. Compare that to somebody who says, okay, I'm going to do this in a paced, organized way. And it's not a race, but I'm going to move forward in a way that is incrementally getting things done. You might begin to recognize yourself as one or the other. Highly suggest when you feel that you are moving too quickly and not getting something done, recognize it's a self imposed hurdle, take a deep breath, and return to being somebody who can recognize progress over speed is what's important. It's not a race. Or maybe you're somebody who feels that, well, just another little bit of an upgrade, another chance to learn a little bit more before I take whatever is before me, whatever opportunity may be presenting itself. Very often in my client base, I'll run into this when people are focused on resumes. They refuse to submit a resume because, well, just one more review, just another couple of word changes. And so they're looking to uh, somehow become perfect, which never happens. So much prefer progressive performance over what would be postponed perfection. So think of yourself as you're always going to be so called in that laboratory of life. You make initiatives, you take steps, and then you see what perhaps, if anything, needs to change. What is it that you can improve upon? So it's not as if we only have one chance to do something. Rather, we have opportunities to constantly improve our positioning, our skill sets, etc. And I bring all this up to you because I don't want you to think, oh, how could I go from being a teacher where I'm comfortable, I know what's expected, even if I am not happy, at least I know what I'm dealing with, into the unknown. Well, I would encourage you leap into the unknown at times with the mindset that it's just a matter of improving one foot in front of the other, keep going forward, and that will ultimately reach success. Or maybe many people that I've worked with have this mindset that they're a fraud, that they're not going to ever be recognized for being proficient, capable, competent. And so they live their lives with this cloud over their head that they're afraid that people will be able to look through them, that people are going to see them as being lesser than. And it's just not the case. Nobody is necessarily going to judge you as being an imposter if you are truly capable and competent. It's just not going to happen. So the recommendation is be more like what I've labeled here as Clara confidence. Recognize you do have value. Doesn't mean you know everything, doesn't mean that you're prepared to address every situation. What it does mean, though, is that you are somebody who is constantly learning and is able to apply that learning so that you can continuously develop new capabilities, new competencies, new insights. Another one that I often come across is someone who says to me, well, maybe that works for everyone else, but I'm not like the others. I somehow am unique and different. My issues are not theirs, and their issues are not mine. And they see themselves forever put upon. And so they don't acknowledge that there is a process, that there are techniques, there are pathways and approaches. Nope, not for them. They believe that somehow they and they alone have to be treated differently than the way others are achieving success. So compare that to someone who says, I am accountable. I am someone who has responsibility for my own accomplishments, my own achievements, and I'm willing to say, if I don't know something, I'll work on it to improve. And they're not necessarily externally focused, they're more internally focused. By that I mean they're not looking to say, well, it's the environment, it's my parents, it's the community I grew up in, they're to blame. Rather, they're saying, no matter what, I will focus on achieving and accomplishing. Then, of course, we have what I've labeled here as Nina No Way. And this is someone who says, whatever you're going to provide me in the way of help, I don't need it. I am beyond that. I know better. I'm someone who uh, is somehow able to rise above the ways that other people seek to perform, behave, achieve, etc. And so they'll often say something like, well, maybe for others, or yeah, but, and then they'll make some excuse. Please, instead of that approach, don't be held back by that. Solicit the help of others. Recognize that no matter where you are in the continuum from unknowing to expert, there are people who perhaps you could learn from. And even if you can't learn from them, they may have the ability to introduce you to others who can help you along the way. So put yourself out there, especially if you're looking to transition from your current role to a new one. Ask questions, talk to others who are considering it, have done it, those perhaps that work with those that have made this conversion from one job or one career to the one you desire. Don't be afraid to ask for help, but only after you have put yourself out there to seek how you perhaps can aid and assist somebody else. Then we have the people who, no matter what is shared with them, they won't ever accept and acknowledge. This person thinks that somehow they were born brilliant and they'll poke holes in whatever is provided to them because nobody knows as much as he or she knows. So I've labeled this person the Amy Adverse person. Instead, let's seek to go step by step and embrace even the small achievements and accomplishments. And you just keep grinding it out, one foot in front of the other. No, this person knows that Rome wasn't built in a day. And it's okay to celebrate the small wins and just keep moving forward. Play the long game, so to speak. Look for opportunities to just check something off on your to-do list to say that was successfully completed and now we're going to move on and build upon that success. Then we have our frank focus list, and this person is just going after every way the wind blows. This person thinks that they have to do it all and do it all at once. So instead of having a clear line of vision into specific objectives or goals, they chase everything all at once. And in so doing, they really don't accomplish much of anything. Much prefer that you say, okay, let me become more capable and competent in a more manageable universe of skill sets, behaviors, abilities. And then once that has been accomplished, build upon those. But trying to be an expert in everything all at once is a fool's errand that will not pay dividends. So next, there's always the complaint that I'll hear where some of my clients say, I just feel overwhelmed. I don't even know where to start. And so they become paralyzed. Rather than starting anywhere, they just look at the enormity of the task and say, I'm out. I want it, but I don't know how to get from point A to point B. So nothing really gets done because they're too busy looking at the totality of what is before them. Compare that to someone who says, I will get there. I am able to do this. I'm competent. I'm capable. And I'm going to learn what I don't currently know, but I'm going to do this in an organized fashion. I'm going to do it at my own speed and I'm going to go step by step through this so that I can reach the goal. And so rather than being Danny deluged, be Connie can do. Now we have Freddie faker who is really putting a mask on. This person tries to pretend there's something they're not. So they forever live in fear that they'll be found out and that they're not going to measure up to expectations. So they become very difficult to work with because they are insecure. And rather than acknowledge that vulnerability, they pretend to be something that they're not. And it gets in the way. It impedes their forward progress and their success. As opposed to someone who says, okay, I'm going to chunk or slice each of the steps required and do it one by one. And they set moderate, achievable goals. And rather than be fearful that they'll be found out, they fully acknowledge I'm on the path to success. I'm somebody who is on the journey and I'm getting better every day and I continue to get better and I'm willing to acknowledge that there's still more to be achieved, but I have at least done something to get me closer to the ultimate goal. So as we begin to conclude this live stream with you, I came across from Cigna, the insurance company, an acronym that I thought was worthwhile to share with you. And that is that if you're looking to make the transition from teacher to corporate trainer, instructional designer, facilitator, freelance consultant in your own business, start by thinking in terms of grow. Ground yourself in the situation. What's real? What's observable? What's truly happening? And then from there, recognize what is within your control and frankly, what's outside of it. Now that you know the situation, now that you know what you're capable of doing to impact or influence that, organize the resources you will need to meet whatever challenges you're confronted with. And don't go it alone. Work with your community for support so that you can, in fact, achieve what it is that you need to achieve. So, I've now introduced some of what holds many people back that I've coached and consulted with in this transition. But I want you to know that I've learned some things as a fellow ex teacher, someone who also is, by my educational and professional training, an instructional designer. I've held positions as a corporate trainer on what's called the platform, facilitating live classes with adults. I've coached people in business environments to make the transition. I've been a consultant to Fortune 100 companies, helping their executives to do a better job of training and developing their employees. I've been a corporate executive myself, hiring trainers and instructional designers. And I want you to know that this is all available to you if you're willing to follow the path to make the conversion transition from teacher to business professional in whichever stripe you wish to pursue about that. So we can work together to translate your teaching superpowers, and you have many. We can identify exactly how your experience, your expertise, your educational preparation, your strengths, maybe your interests, and plenty more to position you as an ideal candidate for your preferred role. Again, could be the facilitator, could be the instructional designer, could be the e-learning creator, it could be the freelance consultant, etc. How we can work together to hone your transferable skills to best position you is what this is all about, giving you that opportunity. So if we work together, you'll have no more feeling lost. We'll start somewhere, and it almost doesn't matter where we start, but let's start, and we'll take actionable steps to allow you to start that journey, whether it's at the end of this school year or you're thinking 18 months, 2 years down the road. Let's put that path in place so that you are making progress towards transitioning to a career that leverages what you already do best and allows you, hopefully, to resurrect that commitment you had for developing, educating, building the skills of others. This time we'll do it with and for an adult population, but truth be told, so many of the approaches didactically and pedagogically are really the same. And in some instances, the adults act more like children than perhaps children do. So I'd love for you to imagine waking up inspired by the work that you do. And still, instead of learning completely new skills, instead of having to go back to school yourselves for a very expensive diploma, let's use your current teaching skills and just make a difference in a new setting. And you'll find you'll have a much healthier work-life balance. This is all possible and before you, and I'm here to help you to make that happen. Remember, this is all about you and what you envision. So let's create that future together where your skills can best be appreciated and leveraged. I thank you for your time on this live stream, and I would love to have you schedule time with me at oknowwhat.biz/calendar if you'd like to schedule more personalized time for the two of us to talk about how you can get on that journey to go from the classroom to a corporate trainer, instructional designer role, or freelance consultant. I'm here at your disposal. Thanks and look forward to talking to you soon.